It is the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. And this week I have in with me Cryptic Calling, or at least the main guy behind Cryptic Calling. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is James Robbins. I play guitar and vocals for Cryptic Calling and primary songwriter.
Primary songwriter. So tell us about the rest of the band.
Well, the rest of the band, I met my drummer. We actually went to school together for audio engineering. We had met there, and we got to know each other a little bit, and both of us had similar tastes in music. So the more we talked, the more we realized, it's something we wanted to do together. And then we started jamming for a little while, and then we ended up getting Clay Zimmerman, who was a good friend of Shay, my drummer, and he came in and played bass for us, and it's been that way basically ever since.
So just basically a power trio. Yeah,
for the most part. And a lot of people kind of, have been shocked by that, and they kind of appreciate it because you don't see it as often as you did in the 90s, so to speak.
Well, I will tell you now, the music scene around our area, we've got quite a few that have just kind of gone with the power trio because, as they said, it's much simpler. Yeah. It's tone, especially whenever it comes time to go play somewhere.
Right.
You don't need a big van, you just need a big car. So cuts down on equipment costs and things. But no, power trio, I like to see that it is kind of coming back.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. You say people are surprised. Look at what Royal Blood's doing. That's two guys.
Yeah.
True. So, I mean, really, these days, it doesn't take as much to make the music other than just the passion. So, and you guys clearly have that.
Thank you.
You said that you and Shay, right?
Yes.
You and Shay kind of discussed and found out that you were into the same thing, and it kind of came from there. So what exactly is the same thing?
Oh, that's a good question. With me, I spent years trying to figure out what I wanted to do musically. I did a lot more metal when I was 16, but I was just playing guitar, and it was a lot more fun. But I got to a point where I just kind of felt like there was too many restrictions. I was like, you can't play it this slow. It's got to be fast and all this kind of stuff. Not saying, that's how metal is, but that's kind of where I kind of cornered myself at that time. So as I got older, I just kind of enjoyed, bands I grew up listening to Nirvana. Nirvana did the heavy stuff. They had the slower stuff. And as I got older, Seether, Breaking Benjamin, those kind of bands, I liked that variety, and I can do basically what I wanted. So, and Shay, he kind of came from the same thing. He did a lot more metal when he was younger, but he felt more comfortable doing what we were doing, kind of the hard rock and the, few ballads here and there, kind of stuff like that to kind of keep it fresh. So, but no, I've been all around with music. Like one of my favorite bands as a kid was Queen.
And influences really kind of help shape. I mean, they've got some great things. Queen really, I think, underrated as far as the influence they have on so many bands. Brian May's guitar, the harmonies of the band, and if you listen to some of their really heavier stuff, you can see where it influences the heavier bands.
Definitely. And I've always felt like they were kind of like the most well-known unknown band out there, because everybody knows them, but they don't. We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. I mean, everybody knows those songs, but no idea who they are. So it's kind of funny, but it's good to see that their music's still going. And
I'm proud to say my daughter is a big fan of really? Queen and Freddie Mercury. Well, you got to start them out right. When you start them out young, you start them out right.
If I could sing like Freddie Mercury, man,
I think you're probably not the first to say that.
Yeah, I know. But
you don't. You have your own style, and I think we've established you started out with metal roots. Yeah. I would kind of liken it not so much towards speed metal. Maybe it sounds a little bit more like mellow metal. I don't know that they have that moniker, but it would fit. You throw in the ballads and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up also with Metallica, but I got into I can't even remember some of the metal, like Lamb of God, those kind of bands, Slipknot. So I did what I could to kind of keep everything diverse, because I get very bored with the same thing over and over again.
Well, let's give them a sample of how your sound has come about now. Sure. One of your earlier songs, Disavowed. Tell me about where Disavowed comes from.
Actually, that was the first song we wrote from scratch, because a lot of the songs were just songs I had lying around, so I showed them to Shay, and we kind of worked with them. But that was the first one that we actually kind of got together and wrote from scratch. And the day I finally was able to find the hook and the chorus, I was like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. This is kind of what I've wanted to do, with the heaviness and the hooky choruses and all that kind of stuff. So this one, I really think it defines kind of what we're going for.
It's Disavowed. Let's give it a listen. This is Cryptic Calling on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7 with Cryptic calling tonight. I've got the main man behind it, James, talking with me about their music. Earlier, we played one of your songs, and you said it was the first one that you had written from scratch. So what was that like? Sitting down and going, I'm tired of doing somebody else's material. I want to do my own. Did you already have an idea of where it was going to go, or? Yeah,
we had a pretty good idea. I think I had like the main riff and the verse down, and working with Shay and I, the good thing about us is we felt kind of the same way where songs needed to go. So there wasn't a whole lot of arguing. So what I kind of envisioned in my head is what he started doing, which was, perfect. And the more we kept jamming with it, the better, we kind of built it up. And it was a good experience. It really kind of showed that, because I hadn't worked with someone for, I can't even remember how long it had been since I'd actually worked with another musician to write songs. So it was good. It kind of, brought hope back that I'd be able to do that.
So you got the first one under your belt. And then from there, how many have you written since then?
Oh, good question. Because a lot of them, like I said, were the songs I had lying around. He kind of put his own thing to them. Like I had a drum machine tracks put to it. So he, kind of modeled it off that, but brought his own feel to it. He's definitely more of a metal drummer. But, it kind of, he let that fit into the music and make it work. And then I had some acoustic stuff. The song Cold November Day was an entirely acoustic song, and we brought that to life, and I thought that worked out really well. But Failure to Resist was another one of the ones that we wrote from scratch, and there's been a few others.
In all, would you say you've got a pretty good collection?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. The songs I'm working on now are mostly songs we've done live, with the exception of 2, I think. I did one acoustically live. Yeah, it was pretty easy to pick the songs that were going to be on the album because
so you've worked most of them into your sets. Then how often do you guys get out and perform?
It's been a while. We've kind of life being what it is, but this year it's been focused on just recording the album. So having to work a 40-hour-a-week job and record music and then go out and play shows, it just didn't work. So it's been focused on the album, and once that's done,
40-hour work week. Get done with that, go into the studio to start working on stuff. How hard has it been to make yourself go in the studio?
Well, good thing is the studio is my house.
Well, okay.
So I'm there. But no, it's some days, the problem is I'll go into work. I go in like 6 o'clock in the morning and I have this urge to want to go home. And then I get home and then it's like, okay. But there's a lot of days where, that motivation's there. And, even if it's not there, once you get it started, that's, it's hard to break away from it because you're just going to keep working with it. And you see your art kind of come to life. And it's an interesting process to see.
I wondered if it went the other way, if after a point you get home and you're like, I really want to do this today. And pick up the guitar and you start strumming. And then about 5 hours later, you're like, I really have to get to bed.
Yeah.
But I could call in tomorrow.
Yeah. And I've had to fight that a couple of times, but it's going well. Process is finally being made. So,
all right. Well, we'll talk about where you are on putting together your next release, the songs that you've got, and we're going to do that as we come back on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7 with Cryptic calling in studio with us this week, and we've been talking with James about the band. You guys came together. How long have you actually been as a band?
Oh, good question. 4 years, something like that. It's been fun, so I can't quite remember. But I think I graduated 2009 from college. So since then.
Since about 2009? That's about like 6 years.
Yeah, that's about 6 years. So
apparently you've been having way more fun than you thought.
Yes. Something like that. Well, I guess making it really serious, it's been about.
So drilling down, once you kind of got past hey, this is kind of fun, but hey, let's see where we can go from there.
Yeah.
So it's about 4 years focused as a band.
There you go.
You guys get out. We talked earlier about you get out and perform. For now, you're focused on recording, but you've been out performing. What's the farthest you've gone to perform?
Oh, we actually did a show in Murphy, North Carolina, or South Carolina, one of those two. It was. I literally got there and had to go straight to the show, and it was a fun show though. It was because my drummer, he lived out that way, so he had a lot of friends come out, and it was a great time. So.
As far as loading up everything and heading out to go to different venues, is that
usually Clay and Shay will go together because they kind of live in the same area where I live, kind of in a different direction. So usually it's me and the wife will load up the car. So we end up meeting usually together at the venues that we play at. So
once you get there, I'm guessing it's all gravy, but
oh, yeah.
the trip out, maybe not so much. So
yeah.
Do you book gigs back to back, or do you say, all right, we're going out this weekend, we're going to be gone Friday, Saturday, and we're coming back Sunday? Or
no, we just can't get out that often. It's kind of one of those things. It's been more of a hobby, so to speak. I learned a lot about music business, and the more I learned about it, kind of less I wanted to get involved. So being independent, it kind of makes it a lot more fun, a lot more control over it. And the guy that normally books our shows, Jay, he's really good at finding good venues, and he's introduced us to a lot of different bands. So it's, like I said, it's more of a hobby, but this is something we really do. It's something we're really passionate about, though.
Well, as you're focused now on getting things recorded, are you going to slowly shift that around to getting out and playing more live, or?
Well, we're gonna kind of play it by ear, so to speak, and see how it goes. Because we did a month where we tried to play a lot of shows, but getting people to come out to a show when you just played last weekend and they know you're going to play next weekend and the weekend after that, kind of gets a little bit difficult. So it'll probably be, maybe like one show a month, and then, kind of see if it kind of snowballs. And, we're going to do a lot more online advertising. Like I'm in the process of getting a lyric video made for the first single. So doing a lot more promotions to get people to come out to the shows. So it's just going to come play it by ear and see what happens. How
many singles are you working on putting together, or how many songs rather are you working on putting together for the new disc?
There will be 11.
11 total, and you've actually got one of those already together,
right? And
you've brought it with you,
yes.
So we get a chance to share that. Failure to Resist. Is this a sci-fi thing? Is this...
It sounds like the song's pretty straightforward. It's not breakup song, I guess is what you could say. So. I don't go too in deep with, what the songs are about, but I think that one's pretty straightforward. But it was one of the songs that was really fun for us to play live. And when we first finally kind of finished it, we knew, I think this will be the first single.
So as you were putting it together, was it the lyrics came up, or those are just added in, or?
Yeah, they were added in. I make sure music's done first before I even start recording vocals. I mean, if something comes up, during the writing process, I might keep it around. But usually I don't start until music's done and we're happy with it.
Why don't we talk a little bit more about your process for putting songs together? But first, we're going to take a listen to Failure to Resist. It's Cryptic calling on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7, having a conversation this evening with Cryptic calling's James Robbins, who was nice enough to drive down. Thank you for coming in to talk with us.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
You came all the way you're up around Nashville, right?
Correct, yeah.
How long have you been up around there?
Since I was 8, so about 20 years.
So you're a homegrown talent. You're not a transplant. You're local music, just the way we like it.
That's right.
You and your band, as we established, have been together for about 6 years, being serious for the last 4 or so, and you've been working on some new material. We played one of the tracks earlier. When are you planning to try and get it all finished up?
Right now, it's pretty much focused on vocals and mixing. So I spent the time trying to get the first single done, obviously for this radio interview. So after this, I still have, the other half of the album to record vocally. So hopefully by September or, latest October, I'm hoping to have it finished.
Now, do you release your songs online?
Yes. Yeah, they'll be online. Physical copies will be available as well. So we're getting all that worked out.
Okay. So you'll be able to hit him up online and check that out. And of course, you guys do the whole social media stuff, keep people abreast of that. So when the tracks do finally all get together, you're going to go, yes, we're taking a year off.
I feel like I should. We started January working on it. So it's been a hard process, but it'll be worth it in the end.
You said you have your own studio in the house, so it's kind of something you can kind of mix when you have the time.
Yeah.
What kind of setup do you use?
Very basic. So got the computer, Digidesign 002, still running Pro Tools 8. Couple of microphones, nothing major, and hopefully it'll grow from there. But
you started out playing metal bands early on. I think we talked about earlier, that was one of the first things that you kind of really picked up the guitar and was a part of. Being a part of those bands so long ago, would you have looked ahead to now and would you have thought there would come a time where you would have your own studio in your house?
No. And, when you're 16 years old, you always have, ideas. And of course, with me, it was, being a big time, musician on TV and stuff like that. But as I got older, reality sinks in. So I knew I wanted to do my own things. I wanted to record my own music and have that freedom to do that. So it's just, no, I couldn't imagine I'd be where I'm at now. So
crafting songs, though, a lot easier with the studio in the house, I'm sure.
Yes.
So whenever you're putting them together, I think we said you put the music first. Mm-hmm. You don't worry about where the lyrics are going or what the topic of the song is. It's, hey, I've got this ditty in my head. I work it up, and then we'll see if I can add something to it for lyrics.
Yep.
So pretty much everything with you is just instrumental.
For the most part. And I did that for, years, because most of the songs that I brought into the project when Shay and I got involved were instrumental, because I was still kind of developing myself as a vocalist and stuff like that. So it just works out easier that way. And I know, talking to other bands, that's usually how it works out. Write the music first, and then, unless I have like a, short little acoustic thing, I might, work on vocals while working on the rest of the song. But mostly I try to get it finished first.
And everybody has a hand in it as far as the song's completion.
Usually, yeah. I mean, it's kind of the foundation is laid by me, and then I'll be like, okay, do your thing, So especially, with Shay, working with him, like I said, he usually he'll go in the right direction I want, but sometimes he'll like throw a curveball, and I'm like, man, I would have never thought of that, And it kind of takes a song in a whole different direction that I could have, never have done.
But it completes it, makes it come out nice. So, well, we're looking forward to the release, come out sometime in September, thereabouts. We're not putting you on a timetable.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if those 40-hour weeks allow. So you can look forward to the release from that. Thank you so much, James, for talking with us tonight. We appreciate it. You're listening to the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7.